or the chat. Despite, this is from ABC News, it says, despite market slump, high rates dim home buyer affordability. This was written on March 14th. Now, look, I'm telling you, I work in the business every day in St. Louis. There's not a market slump occurring in St. Louis. I mean, it's ridiculous. The inventory has gone down, which statistically shows that the number of houses, year over year has gone down. But if you look at the price, it's still higher, about 4% over last year. I reject the notion that in St. Louis, there's a market slump right this moment. It says homeownership is likely to remain a pipe dream for many Americans this spring home buying season. This is out of Los Angeles. We read the first paragraph. The nation's worst housing slump, and I'm going to try and get rid of that there for you, make it easier. The nation's worst housing slump in nearly a decade. See, I mean, this is not the world I'm living in. In nearly a decade, stoked hope among prospective buyers that homes could be scooped up more easily. But while prices appear to have peaked last summer, they still ended 2022 higher than they were at the end of 2021, and the median home price has increased 42% since 2019. A series of interest rate increases by the Federal Reserve last year is making matters worse for home buyers, pushing mortgage rates to their highest levels in 2 decades. What's happening, yes, is the prices are staying high, but the ability to buy them is even worse because mortgage rates are higher. The average long-term rate on a 30-year mortgage reached a 2-decade high of 7.08 in the fall. Rates eased in December and January, but have been climbing since early February. The average rate hit 6.73 last week, the highest level since early November. A year ago, it averaged 3.85%, and that was high. We could be at 3% or under for a while there. The rate translates into a roughly 49% increase in the monthly payment on a median priced U.S. home than a year ago, said George Radio, senior economist at Realtor.com. For real estate markets, the rise in rates means higher mortgage payments, deepening the affordability challenge as we move into the crucial spring home buying season. Look, it wouldn't be so bad if the high interest rates were causing home prices to come down. That wouldn't be so bad. For affordability, I'm talking about. Like, I care about people. Like, I really want, if you want, to me, you're a young couple, you're starting your life, buying a home or you got a new job, you're a single fella, you got a new job, or lady, buying a home is optimism. You're looking forward to your life. You're buying something, you're going to call it your home. Like, you're invested in it. It's a good thing. It's an optimistic thing. And I like to be a part of that. That's part of the reason why I'm in the business. So I want to see that. Okay. On the home seller side, I like my sellers to make money. Don't get me wrong, but some of them are kind of greedy. I'm just going to say. For prospective buyers holding out for a meaningful dip in mortgage rates, they may be in for a long wait. Zillow recently polled 100 economists and real estate experts on their outlook for what the average rate on a 30-year mortgage will be by the end of this year, and the median forecast was 6%. I think you're wrong. See, this is the thing. I think you're missing what would help affordability, and that's lower home prices. Yes, asking for a lower mortgage rate would be great, but to get the lower mortgage rate, you have to have some significant issues with the market, like the financing in the United States. We don't really want that, even though it looks bad. Stronger than expected reports on the economy this year have fueled speculation that the Federal Reserve may have to keep pushing up its key borrowing rate to tame inflation, deepening the affordability challenge for would-be buyers like Joe Arndt in Ryerstown, Maryland. Like, look, we don't know what the Fed's going to come out and do. It's going to be fascinating. I argue that the Fed kind of caused this problem. Actually, it's 95% responsible for all of this. How could you not figure out that people would, when you had higher yields on safe treasuries, that people would pile into that for safety? Like, how did you not figure out that was going to be a problem? It blows my mind. The 28-year-old athletic trainer has been looking to buy a home in the Baltimore area for over a year, but hasn't found much he can afford with his $225,000 to $250,000 price range. That would be tough. He now feels shut out of the market. I thought that things would start to cool down a little bit more. Prices are still the same they were a year ago, if not a little higher. Yeah, absolutely. Another factor that may keep people out of the housing market is the fact that the amount of money a typical home buyer needs to earn in order to afford a house continues to climb. In the fourth quarter of last year, you had to make at least $80,142 a year to buy a home with the national median price of $325,000, according to an analysis by Adam, a real estate information company. That's nearly 36% increase from the same quarter in 2021. There's been a lot of people that felt very wealthy, and then they go to buy a house and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't afford this." The analysis, which is based on data from 581 counties, defines an affordable home purchase as a transaction that includes a 20% down payment and a monthly cost for the mortgage payment, property taxes, and insurance that doesn't exceed 28% of the buyer's annual income. One market shift that could help make homes more affordable is a significant increase in homes for sale. Nationally, there are more available homes now than a year ago, and that's likely to increase in the coming weeks, as traditionally more homes hit the market in the spring months. That did not happen here. The number of homes for sale rose for the first time in 5 months in January, up to 980,000, up 15.3% from a year earlier. According to the National Association of Realtors, that amounts to 2.9% supply, 2.9 months supply of the current sales pace, better than January of last year. But it's still far from the 5 to 6 month supply that reflects a more balanced market between buyers and sellers. And the prospects for a bigger spike in supply are slim, given that new construction hasn't kept up pace with demand after years of underbuilding following the housing crash of 2008. At the same time, most homeowners with a mortgage have locked in ultra low rates over the years and have less financial incentive to sell. I don't know. I mean, we read that tweet. There's supposed to be a ton of construction, ton of new properties coming online. It's not all bad news for buyers. It's pretty bad. The bidding wars that led to homes often selling for well above asking price a year ago are less common as higher mortgage rates have forced some buyers out of the market, and data shows sellers are more willing to lower their asking price than they were a year ago. Sabit Harakabaptai and his fiancée, Sierra McNeely, were worried about higher borrowing costs would hamper their bid to become homeowners, but the couple who lives in the Cleveland suburb of Strongsville were able to find a house they could afford. Well, that's nice. The couple got a 2-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom house for around $230,000 or $15,000 below asking price, and financed the purchase with a 30-year mortgage with a fixed rate of 5.75%. The seller also kicked in $10,000 towards their closing costs. Man, that was a bad house. We're definitely going to refinance at some point, Harabaktagi said, but it seems like the way it worked out, we got a pretty good amount of seller concessions. For buyers like them who can make the home buying math work, some have some trends in their favor. For one, homes are taking longer to sell. That's always been a ridiculous. Like, days on market is fine, but like, don't get me started. On average, homes sold in 33 days of hitting the market in January, up from 19 days a year earlier. That's pushing some sellers to lower prices, which why would they? If you're in St. Louis right now, why are you lowering your price? In January, about 190,000 homes on the market. By the way, there's a guy right now, a very wiry, old veteran real estate agent that sells many houses a year. He's got a house that's worth probably $300,000. It's probably going to sell for $300,000. He's got it priced at $225,000. Offers due by Monday at noon. He knows full well what he's doing. He knows full well what he's doing. People are going to go there and say, "Oh my God, we can buy this for $225,000," and their agent's going to look at them and say, "Like, yeah, let's put an offer at $225,000," and then they're going to be shocked. They're going to be shocked when the house sells for $300,000 or more. And you say, "John, why wouldn't you be shocked?" It's because I know the area very, very well, and I know what sells there and how much it sells for. Always have. It's close to my house. So anyway, it says that's pushing some sellers to lower prices. In January, about 190,000 homes on the market had their price reduced, but that's across the United States. That's not that many. Money buyers are also increasingly opting for a mortgage rate buy-down, which lowers the rate on their home loan for a few years or the life of the loan and thus reduces the home buyer's overall borrowing cost. In exchange, buyers pay fees as part of their closing costs to cover the rate buy-down. We have that here, but it's not the amount that you could get on the rate buy-down isn't that much to make it worthwhile. You better off refinancing down the road. You're still going to have to pay to refinance. Some sellers even offering to cover those closing costs for a buyer to get the deal done, which again isn't happening here. Scott Collett, an account manager in Tampa, Florida, recently negotiated a seller paid mortgage rate buy-down to close the deal on a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a pool. The property, which had been on the market for nearly a year, was reduced from $495,000 to $419,000. Okay, so they really missed on the market. I basically offered what they were asking at that point in time, and as they paid all the closing costs, inspection fees, and everything. The rate on his 30-year loan dropped from 6.25 to 5.26, an improvement, but still higher than a year ago when rates averaged below 4%. For Collett, it was worth it. My thought was if I had a higher interest rate, I'd pay less for the house, but I could also refinance. That's right. Get yourself into the house right now and then refinance later, hoping that the value of your house doesn't crater.